How's it going, everybody? My name is Swoopy and welcome back to my channel. Yes, the Viper buffs have arrived and I'm so happy to be going into a custom game, testing them out and showing these changes to all of you guys. In this video, we're going to go in depth to all the Viper changes and how they affect a bunch of Viper mechanics and how they affect a bunch of interactions within the game. We're going to go deep into all the different changes that have happened, with the changes which we don't see as well as the changes which we already know about. But guys, honestly, these changes are absolutely incredible. So if any of you haven't picked up Viper yet and want to start playing, be sure to watch this video and then jump into a game with Viper, as I'm sure you'll have a great time. But either way, that's enough of me rambling. Let's jump straight into it. Okay, so let's start off by talking about the wall. Now, whenever an enemy passes through the wall, they will instantly take 50 decay damage. If they then stay in the smoke, the decay is going to continue going up by about 10 decay every single second. It's slight enough in the decay, but 50 insta decay is insane. So as you can see from this wall, whenever you pass through, you're taking 50 insta decay, and if you stay in it, you're taking 10 decay every second. Once this cooldown gets reset, once again, if the enemy passes through the decay again, the decay once again is 50 insta. This means that walls like this Icebox B wall are really punishing for the enemies to swing through instantly off the start of the round, and they're really strong now. Alright, now the most important thing. So here's me testing the swoop peaks now. So what they've done is they reverted the changes that they did in patch 2.05, the ninja buffs which I guess weren't intended, and it's now gone back to what it was before. So rather than being a 350 millisecond advantage with your peak, you're getting a 250 millisecond advantage, which is still pretty big if you're talking about competitive shooters. However, the drop time is a lot faster now, which means surprising enemies is going to be a lot better, but yeah, you don't have the same peak as advantage that you would have previously. But as you'll see in a second, it's absolutely insane. You can still kill people when they can't see you at all. They can still see the smoke fully up while you have full vision of the enemy. So yeah guys, by no means is the swoop peak nerfed in any way. This is 100% buffed. Yes, the peek's advantage is lower, but you can now swoop peek more often. You can do them infinitely in the rounds at no cooldown cost. And they can't push them anymore, because if they push your smoke and they try and stay inside of it, they're going to be taking a ton of decay damage. And one other change I just want to hype up an absolute ton is this snakebite change. Pullout time of your snakebite is so much better now. It's now competing with a lot of duelist timings, and if you see someone go into a corner, you can now instantly punish them with very little risk. Whereas before, it was very clunky, and the pullout animation would be so long to the point that the enemy would swing out and you would insta-die. So Riot, really good job here. This also means that now doing your snakebite swoop peaks are now really strong. If you get your timings right, this can be super punishing, and as soon as the snakebite lands, you can get a free kill. One other bug I want to talk about really briefly is if you drop your smoke and then pick it up once it's like just as it fully goes down, your smoke then reappears for a slight second. It's a bug, and I don't think it's really abusable in any way, but it's just something to note. And yes, I know this has been in the game for a very long time. So here's some swoop peaks against myself, and you can see that it's not nerfed in any way. Like, you can still get a really good advantage by abusing swoop peaks. So once again, every single Viper player, I really recommend you learn this. Doesn't matter if you're new or a veteran Viper player, it's a very key mechanic if you want to increase your frags in your games. If you guys don't know what a swoop peak is, I really recommend you go watch my most recent video. It explains it very briefly, as well as showing some other really cool clips. The next thing I wanted to test was if a jet dashes through your wall or through your smokes, does she take the decay, the 50 decay damage instantly? And yes, she does. This is really good to know. It means that there isn't any really good counter. If an enemy is going to push through your wall in any way that comes into contact with any of your smokes, they are taking that 50 decay damage instantly. It doesn't matter how fast they pass through it. However, you do have to be careful. If you're playing against a jet, they can still jump over your wall and over your smokes, so do be wary about that. The next buff, which I honestly didn't even realize had happened, is whenever someone goes into your ult, as well as all of your other smokes, they take that 50 decay damage instantly as well. Now, this is insane. The amount of map control that you are now going to maintain with Viper's ult is really good. Before, you would have enemies instantly rush into your ult, and they wouldn't mind because they would only take, I don't know, 20 damage before they would actually engage in a fight. Whereas now, they take 50 instantly, after a second they've taken 60 damage straight away from your ult, which means guns like Judges and a lot of close range and fast fire rate weapons are going to be really, really strong now, when paired with the Viper ult. So yeah, this is a really good change to see, and I'm really happy that they approached the changes in the ult the way they did. So this is nowhere near to the same extent as what it was in the last patch, when there was the ninja buff. However, the ability to delay your smoke is still available within the game. This means rather than your smoke dropping in about 0.75 seconds, you can normally get it out to be just under 2 seconds if you drop your smoke, walk in, and pick it up at the right time. And another change, which I was so happy about, is whenever Viper is killed, her smokes stay up for an extra 2 seconds longer. And as you can see in the clip, this makes a huge difference. It means your team actually has time to react, think, oh god, Viper's dead, these smokes are going to go down, and it isn't instantly as punishing. You have that time, say, if you're in the open, you can manage to find some cover and get out of a bad situation. Once again, a really kind of small and subtle change, but something which will really affect the quality of life of Viper players. Another thing I want to talk about is when do you actually take the Decay when going into a smoke? So you can kind of be in the smoke and not take that insta-50 Decay, and this is because you only take that Decay once you can actually have vision within the smoke. So if you're fully blinded by the smoke, you don't take the Decay yet, but as soon as you actually get to the point where you pass into the smoke and you have vision inside of the smoke, that is when that first 50 Decay instantly hits. So that's just a little thing to know, and just be careful when clearing corners with your smokes. And another thing I think is really cool is there's actually a visible Decay animation that you can see on the players now. So you get this like nice cool purple look now, and it's just a really cool visible way of seeing when people are actually minus 50 HP straight away. This means you can pick and choose your targets a lot easier. If you're sitting back with a marshal and trying to snipe from range, you can choose where your one-shot kills will be and where they won't be. So just a nice visual change, and yeah, it's really good. One thing I just want to go over at the end is just talking about this new audio. It is amazing. I'm going to let a bit of audio play now showing what it was like before or when you turn on this new audio filter. It honestly makes your hearing so much better. You can really target when players are in front of you and behind you a lot easier, as well as above and below you. Whereas before you would have quite a bit of difficulty in games like this.
Yeah, but people will complain that you have obstruction. The walls would be pretty weird sounds. But yeah, the sound is actually really good. The main thing, just wait inside the tube. Turn it off for a second.
So what are my overall thoughts on this? Honestly, I think all these changes are super positive to Viper. I think Riot took a very interesting approach with what they were going to do with Viper. What I was saying before the patch was they needed to increase the smoke times, as she wasn't competing with other agents because her smoke times weren't as long as the other agents. What Riot have done is they've made Viper smokes more punishing than other agents, rather than increasing the time. So even though her smokes don't last as long, the actual punishment of pushing through any of her smokes and her utility itself is a lot more punishing to its enemies. I honestly really like this approach from Riot, and it shows that they have some really creative thinking when it comes to balancing agents. And it also shows that their character design isn't going to be completely one-dimensional. It's not going to be like CS where you just have your flashes and smokes. They're creating these really cool ideas, and I love to see it. So yeah, I would love to give a big high five to Riot. I honestly think they've done an amazing job with these Viper changes. I don't know how much the 50 Decay is going to affect. That might be decreased a little bit, or if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if the Viper smoke cost would be increased to something like 300, just to compete with the other agents and make balancing a little bit better. But either way, all of these changes will come with time, and we'll see how these changes affect gameplay when it comes to both the pro scene as well as matchmaking within the game. But that's it, guys. Everybody go out there, try out Viper. She looks absolutely amazing now. I honestly expect her pick rate to go through the roof. She is a super viable pick and is super strong right now on pretty much most maps as well. And if any of you need a place to start to learning Viper, if you are new and want to pick up this agent, be sure to go check out my Viper Mindset series. It's a series where I literally go through my mindset with Viper, and it's a really, really good guide to understand the playstyle of Viper. But otherwise, guys, that's it from me. I hope you have a lovely day and enjoy these Viper changes. I sure will. And if you're checking out this video on the day where it came out, be sure to go check out my Twitch, as I'll probably be live right now. And I'll be streaming, showing these changes, and just experimenting with a bunch of new ideas. But yeah, guys, that's it. Remember, stay safe, stay toxic, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.